Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Poor Decisions, the true crime and wine podcast where we sip, spill, and solve some seriously twisted stories. I'm your host, Bryn, and today's case is one that completely shocked the world. A story of betrayal, deception, and unimaginable tragedy. Today we're diving deep into the case of Chris Watts, the Colorado husband and father who murdered his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their two young daughters, Bella and Celeste. This is going to be a heavy one, so grab your glass, pour up, and let's dive in. Before we get into the wine of the week, let's take a minute to do all of the things that help support this podcast. You guys make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video. And also today we have a special announcement. I kind of teased it a little teeny bit on my Instagram page, but not too much. You see this shirt that I'm wearing? It says corks are for quitters. It's so on brand for poor decisions, right? Well, this is from the brand Wine Girl, and here at Poor Decisions, we are officially brand ambassadors. So check out Wine Girl's merch shop online at www.shopwinegirl.com and shop for wine-inspired merch just like this shirt and plenty others for my girlies. Use our code PD15 to receive 15% off your orders. And if you're in the Scottsdale, Arizona, Napa Valley, California, or coming soon, San Diego, California, you can visit their physical locations where you can visit and try different wines or attend one of their many cool events. So back to it. So for tonight's episode, we are sipping on something very fitting. Tonight, we are very fitting for Poor Decisions. This is the brand 19 Crimes, which matches our vibe completely. Each wine features a different criminal, and back in the day, in like the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, in countries such as England, France, and Holland, when you committed crimes, one of the sentences would be punishment by transportation, which involves sending a criminal to a distant location for a specific amount of time. Pretty much you were banished, and they used this method in place of capital punishments like being sentenced to death and things like that. So let's get into our bottle. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and y'all, which is a drier red, but I do like cabs. So I'm very excited to try it. I have never tried this brand before. And again, I like cabs, but I have never had this brand. So I'm excited to get into it. So for our flavor profile of this wine, it said it is firm and full with a rich mouthfeel, aromatics of dark berries, violets, and vanillas. And this is a 13.5. Now, our criminal on the bottle today, we have Michael Harrington. He was a British conscript turned infamous convict, and he's pretty much best known for orchestrating one of the most daring escapes from Australia. In 1876, Harrington, along with 6 others, braved a massive typhoon in nothing more than a teeny rowboat to board an American whaling ship, and what is now remembered as the Catapult Rescue. Pretty cool, right? So make sure you guys check this brand out if you haven't already. If you guys are trying it with me, let me know how you like it. And what's pretty cool, the brand 19 Crimes, they also have a line with Snoop Dogg. So let's try it, okay? And of course, y'all know we're sipping in Poor Decisions. Everything is on brand tonight. I absolutely love it. And we're going to get this sound that I love. Y'all know I love the sound of pouring wine. I think that's pretty good. Again, cabs are pretty drier, but I like cabs. Let's taste. Not bad. I like this. All right, now let's dive in. Chris Watts and Shanann Ruszczyk met in 2010 after Chris messaged Shanann on Facebook. Shanann thought it was just harmless convo as she never expected to actually meet him in person. But little did she know, in 2012, they would be married. They eventually settled in Frederick, Colorado, and had 2 daughters, Bella Marie, who was born in 2013, and Celeste Catherine, who was born in 2015. Shanann was very active on social media. She worked promoting a health supplement called Thrive, and she was very open with her personal family life on social media as well. She shared pictures of the girls and posted frequent updates about Chris being a wonderful husband and father. But behind the scenes, though, the couple was struggling. From financial problems, including a bankruptcy in 2015, it loomed over the household. And by mid-2018, their marriage was reportedly under serious strain. Shanann could tell that Chris had become distant, and she suspected he was having an affair. She confided in her friends that she and Chris had gone weeks at a time without being intimate, and whenever she tried, he just rejected her. She felt if he wasn't getting it from her, then he must be getting it from somewhere else. Most of the time, yes. But she was absolutely right. And in June 2018, Chris began an affair with a co-worker named Nicole Kessinger. Now, from here on out, we're going to refer to her as NK, as the rest of the media does who reports this case. Because coming up a little bit later in this story, there is another Nicole who's actually a close friend of Shanann's, and she plays a vital role in this case. So to separate, we're going to refer to Shanann's friend that comes in later as Nicole, and Chris's mistress, Nicole, we're just going to refer to her as NK so we don't get confused, okay? So Chris told NK that he was separated in the process of divorcing Shanann, which was a complete lie. And NK would later say she had no idea that he was still actively living with his wife. At the same time, Shanann became pregnant with their third child, a boy that they planned to name Nico. Shanann posted a video to her Facebook of the reaction of Chris when she first told him, and he seemed genuinely excited.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
But Chris's behavior started to change drastically. He became distant, stopped being affectionate, started working out, and started sleeping in another room. Shanann noticed, but every time she brought it up to Chris, he had an excuse and never admitted to the affair. But Shanann knew that something was off. And we're about to jump to that dreadful, tragic morning. So before we do, let's have a wine break. I really like this. Oh my God, I love this. You can still taste the fruitiness. It's definitely not sweet, but you can still taste the fruit. Like I said, let me read it again. Dark berries, violets, and vanilla. You definitely get the tone of those berries. It's really good. Let's keep going. In the early mornings of August 13, 2018, Shanann returned home from a business trip to Arizona. Her friend Nicole Atkinson had dropped her off around 2 a.m. Later that morning, Shanann's friend Nicole became concerned that she couldn't reach Shanann. She was calling and texting and getting no response. Now, Nicole knew that Shanann had a doctor's appointment that morning to check on the status of her pregnancy, an appointment that Shanann would never miss. So Nicole, I'm going to tell you guys too, Nicole is that on-point friend. Like when you know your friend and you know something is not right and you just do not let it like sit past you, that is Nicole 1000%. So I'm definitely going to give props to Nicole for being an awesome friend, okay? So anyway, Nicole contacted the doctor's office that Shanann was supposed to have had her appointment at, but she was told that Shanann did not show up to her appointment, which further alerted Nicole. So she decided to just pop up and visit the home in person, But when she arrived, there still was no answer at the door. She said there was no movement in the house and she could tell that something was just not right. She then called Chris to see if he knew where Shanann was, but when he stated that he didn't know, she said that she was going to call the police for a wellness check, and she did. When police arrived at the Watts home, Chris soon arrived as well and allowed them in. They all searched the home looking for any sign of them. Shanann's phone, purse, keys, and medication were all inside the house. And the girls' blankets that they didn't go anywhere without were missing. The children's car seats were still in the car, but there was no sign of Shanann, Bella, or Celeste. Chris appeared strangely calm. He told police that he had no idea where Shanann and the girls were and said he thought that she had taken them to a friend's house for a play date, but conveniently he didn't know which friend it was. Police then spoke with a next-door neighbor who had surveillance cameras outside their home. The neighbor's camera showed Chris backing his truck into the driveway early that morning, something he never usually did. Apparently, Shanann didn't like him to park his truck in the driveway because it leaked oil and she didn't want the oil residue to mess up the driveway. But Chris claimed that he only moved his truck that morning to the driveway so he could load his tools for work into the truck. The neighbor later told police he's not acting right. He's fidgety. He never backs his truck in. Let's take a look at the video from the body cam footage of when the neighbor told the police that something just wasn't right in the way that Chris was acting.
She dropped her off at 1 in the morning, right?
My doorbell said 1:48. She came in.
Okay. It's not on this one. It'll be on this one. This is her bed leaving at 1:48.
So as soon as it picks up motion, it back off. Okay. I thought you.
That was the start of the video?
Yep. About 1:48.
In the morning.
I didn't pick her up going into the house though.
It didn't. And I usually pick him up when he comes walking through here. I pick him up. So it doesn't show her walking into the house. But she would have walked by right this off. That's fine.
Okay.
The other dogs. They see all these people coming in, they're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And you know it's still live because it's live moving.
How long does it typically record for?
30 seconds, I believe, at a time. But this is at 1:48, and then the next one I have is 1:05, whatever. So nothing, no cars came through, because I guarantee, with the headlights, it picks up the headlights automatically.
And my Vivint said that at 5:27, my garage door was left open. But that could have been the sensor as well. It says it was shut during the day, but I think when Nikki's son, he may have tried to move the door around, maybe when they were trying to get in the garage door, and it probably broke the laser there. That's because my alarm started going off.
Well, I know he said the front door he tried going in, but he had the lock up.
That's for
So
the
that
kids,
set
so
it
they
off,
don't get out.
right?
And our remote on the outside doesn't work anymore. It got wet and the whole radio on the back.
So yeah, that was it.
Okay. All right, appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Hopefully something comes up here.
Yeah.
Mind if you just want to go talk to him? I'm going to get his info real quick.
He's not acting right.
No.
He's never preaching. He's never rocking back and forth. And if you look, he never loads his stuff in and out of the garage ever.
Right.
And it doesn't look like he came from right here. It looks like he came from down the street. And then the other thing that doesn't make sense is why would he pull past this part? You can see him pull past.
Are you able to record this?
I'd have to call Comcast, but I can get him to do whatever. But watch, you'll see him get out. And he walks back and forth a couple times. To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently?
Yeah. I'm guessing that's why she went and visited people, is because she wanted to get away from the situation.
Do you have your ID handy?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not that. He maybe wants to figure out the perspective of the question or not. We're not looking.
I just don't understand why he keeps explaining himself over and over where he's getting exactly what he's doing exactly, because that's not him. He's usually really quiet.
Well, if you look, that's the back of his truck. That's that. He has right here. He had a flat pan on it.
Yeah.
He took the flat pan off and I was looking at that.
Well, that was always back there.
Well, yeah, but this is just weird because now I've got
What's your phone number?
He'd be fine. It just seems kind of odd to me. Why would he pull the truck up and go to the garage?
Right.
yeah, I've never seen him pull it back.
I've never seen him. If he loads his stuff, he normally just walks back and forth because I get him on camera.
What does he usually load up?
All he usually has is a lunch box and a book bag, looks like a computer, and usually a water jug. That's it. But the fact that he was in here and explaining to it over and over and over,
Well, odd.
but he doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if he's loading his stuff, why isn't he walking back and forth? But I can't see what he's doing in the back of the truck because he pulled into the garage.
Yeah.
And he knows my camera's there.
Any other neighbors have cameras around here, you know?
I'm sure a bunch of them do, but not that I know of.
Meanwhile, Shanann's friend Nicole was adamant that she would never leave home without her phone or her children's car seats. And then also, she found a pair of black flip-flops that she said that Shanann pretty much wore every day, still at the front door. Chris did a series of interviews with local TV stations, pleading for his family's safe return. But viewers immediately felt that something was off. His effect was flat, his body language was robotic, the public wasn't buying it. It was very awkward. Let's take a look at it.
Chris Watts, WATTS.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now it's, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like, they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car or they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like, if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, Shanann.
What's your kids' name?
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell Celeste?
Celeste.
How old are your daughters?
4. Bella's 4. Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on. Like because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she had just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered. Like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now. Like that's what's in my head. Like if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions. Your relationship with your kids.
My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. And this, like, I mean, last night, like during when they usually eat dinner, it was just like I missed them. Like, I mean, I missed telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not going to get your dessert, and just like you're not going to get your snack after. I miss that. Like I miss them, cuddle up on their couches. They have like a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just like, it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that. I needed that last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on. And I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. And know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I want everybody to just come home. Like wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Where was she gone for? She was on. She came back Sunday. You said at 2 at night.
Yeah, because her flight got delayed from Arizona because of like other storms around the nation. So she's supposed to get home at like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for? Like family trip or what?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
And that day she was back. I mean,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely gotten into bed pretty much.
And this might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like somebody has to come forward.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact. Like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you? Like,
They're just like if they need to get on a flight, just let them know, because I mean they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is, I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. That's what the cops pretty much told me. That first day I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
Last couple questions. What is law enforcement? What have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors? Is anybody? What's police saying to you?
Right now, this is what they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far, because yesterday the Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and tried to gather whatever information they could, and with the detectives, officers, and sergeants. And today it's, I mean, obviously with all the activity that's around, it's there's a lot going on around here, and I really hope that all this can lead to something positive.
What did your neighbors, did they see anything? Did your neighbors see anything?
No, like the police department went door to door asking, like, cameras and everything, just like nothing.
And my last question, if you have any of them, so feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch these, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
That's it. I can take that mic off you.
And quickly after the news of the disappearances started to hit the media, Chris's mistress, NK, decided to come forward and talk to police without Chris knowing. She claimed that when she first met Chris, she was under the impression that they were separated. She said she didn't know Shanann's name until recently and didn't find out that she was 15 weeks pregnant until it was released on TV from the media. Now, during investigation, it seems that NK is also a little bit of a liar. Again, she claimed to not even learn Shanann's name until recently, but reports of her phone searches showed that she had Googled Shanann's name specifically, Shanann Watts, and Chris Watts, prior to her ever even meeting Chris. She had Googled them months before that her and Chris actually met at work. Some speculate that since Shanann was so active on social media about their family, maybe NK was already hip as to like who they were. Like maybe she, I don't want to call her a fan, but maybe she was a fan. Maybe she was a viewer of them, kind of like how I'm giving you guys weekly videos and how you guys come and watch every week. Shanann was like that. She was posting everything about their life. Maybe NK was somebody who tuned into that, because that doesn't make sense. How are you Googling their names months prior to ever even meeting him, but then claim to never have even known her name? I don't know. Let's keep it going, because that's neither here nor there. But those weren't the only searches that were uncovered that were a little off. NK had been Googling things like, if a man says he's going to leave his wife, is he, and marrying your mistress? And she even Googled Amber Fry. Now, for those who don't know, there was a guy a couple years ago by the name of Scott Peterson who also killed his pregnant wife and was having an affair. And his mistress's name was Amber Fry. Now, in this case, it was found that Amber really knew nothing about Scott's wife, and she had nothing to do with it. And as soon as she became aware, Amber immediately went to the police to expose their relationship and to help any way that she could. She even wore a wire during conversations with Scott to help investigators. So it said maybe NK wanted to know how to react to keep the police off her back, so she went to them first, just like Amber Fry had. Now, after days of being pressured and interviews, Chris agreed to do a polygraph test, which he failed and was confronted by detectives. One of the detectives asked, did Shanann do something to hurt the girls? And when she said this, Chris took that and ran with it. He then confessed to killing Shanann in a fit of rage and said that when Shanann arrived home from the work trip, they had an emotional conversation where he told her that he did not want to be with her no more and that they were going to be separating. He said Shanann was devastated and she made a comment to him that he would never see the girls again. And then she proceeded into the girls' room where she allegedly strangled the girls to death. And as a result, Chris was so angered at what Shanann had just done to the girls that in return, he strangled Shanann to death. But that was a lie. It's always a lie. Let's take another sip. I had to cheat for another one. It's so good. Now, later he confessed to killing all three. He admitted to strangling Shanann in their bed while she was 15 weeks pregnant, and then loading her body along with the daughters into his truck. During the drive to a remote oil site where he worked, Bella and Celeste were still alive in the back seat while their mother's lifeless body lay on the floor. Bella asked, "Was mommy okay?" And Chris told her that mommy wasn't feeling well and that they were going to take her to the doctor. But when they arrived to the oil site, he then smothered Celeste with a blanket and placed her body in one of the oil tanks, while Bella watched. She literally sat there in her car seat and watched her sister die. And after he finished with Celeste, Bella then asked her father, "Is the same thing going to happen to me?" And then he smothered her too and placed her body in the other oil tank. He even said he knew that they were dead when he heard their bodies splash into the oil. He then dug and buried Shanann's body in a shallow grave nearby. The story made national headlines and international headlines. People were mortified, not just by the murders, but by the coldness with which Chris carried them out. How could anyone do such a thing to their family and two innocent kids at that? On November 6, 2018, Chris pleaded guilty to 9 felony counts, including first-degree murder of all 3 victims and unlawful termination of a pregnancy. He took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty at the request of Shanann's family. He was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole to be served consecutively. Now, there's been a lot of psychological analysts in reference to the case, but one that I found that I definitely want to highlight and read to you guys, and I quote, "Chris Watts is a textbook case of a family annihilator, someone who murders their entire family, often out of a desire to escape a situation they feel trapped in. In his case, it was a toxic mix of financial pressure, a failing marriage, and a desire to start a new life with his mistress." Psychologists have noted that Chris shows traits of narcissism and sociopathy, exhibiting no empathy, emotion, or remorse. Even in prison interviews, Chris seems disconnected from the enormity of what he did. He claims to have been overtaken by something evil, but many believe it was cold calculation, not momentary rage. The public followed every single moment of this case. Shanann's social media presence, filled with happy family photos and smiling videos, made the crime feel especially haunting. Documentaries, YouTube breakdowns, and a Netflix special titled American Murder, The Family Next Door, which I highly recommend you guys to watch. It is great, but it all fueled ongoing interest in this case. People were captivated by the duality, how someone who looked like a normal family man could be hiding such darkness. And it's crazy when you say things like that, because it's like looking at this family, even looking at him, like he looked so normal. Like if I knew him, I don't think that I would think that he would be capable of doing something like this. But when people kill, like killers, they're everyday regular people like you guys and I. Like I'm not ever going to do that, but I could. Like, you never know someone. And that's really the scary part about it. But many also criticized the blame the victim narratives that emerged. Some people online tried to paint Shanann as controlling or difficult, as almost as if like she brought it on herself, which is absolutely ridiculous. But her friends and family pushed back hard. They were not having it. And they reminded the world that nothing justifies what happened, which absolutely is indeed true. It does not matter. But if you think somebody is controlling, pushy, that does not serve or give you a reason to kill them. I don't understand that part. I don't think that I ever will. Again, some of these things with these murders, I'm not meant to understand because, like I say, I'm not going to do this stuff, y'all. But that is all the facts of the case. Everything that I now know, you guys now know. So let's move into the case discussion. You know, we're going to sit first. Okay, let's get into it. So I definitely want to highlight that in the case discussion, this is all my opinion. Everything before that we discussed has been strictly facts that have been researched from multiple sources. But here on out, this is my complete and personal opinion. So for today's discussion, one of my questions is about Chris's side piece / mistress, NK Nicole Kessinger. Do you or do you not believe that she was possibly involved with what happened, the murders of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste? And if you believe that she wasn't actually involved in the actual committing of the murders, do you think that she knew at all what had happened? So, in my opinion, this is a tough one. Since this case has came out, there have been so many deep dives from multiple creators, lots of true crime addicts that you see on TV, Nancy Grace, Annie Elise, so many, okay? And there's so much more information that still to this day continues to come out. As I was doing my research, I was seeing new stuff coming out about Nicole Kessinger just from like 3 days ago. Like, this is, a lot of people term this case as being called Watts Island. And they say, like, I'm stuck on Watts Island. I can't get off Watts Island, because that's how much the public are like so glued and stuck to this case. Like, everyone's interest in this like dives so deep. It's like peeling a banana. And it's like every time you peel a piece of banana, which doesn't really happen in real banana, but you just kind of feel like, I peeled the banana and it's already another piece to peel off. But anyway, when it comes to Nicole Kessinger, I have read many different conspiracies, theories, and all that. I saw something that said that they believe that when this happened, Shanann came home from her work trip and she walked in on, like, Nicole Kessinger, NK, was at the house with Chris, like they might have been in the middle of being intimate, and Shanann walked in on it, and that's when the murders transpired. There is no facts or no evidence to back that up. That's just some people's speculation. I feel like Chris said, her flight was delayed. She was supposed to be in at around 11 p.m., but then the flight got delayed and pushed back, so she didn't get home till 2. So I feel like if you knew she was coming home at 11, you would have already been prepared for her to come home. So then you wouldn't have had somebody else in the house. And then when you find out, okay, flight's delayed, I'm pushed back till 2, you do have more time to like freak off and have your fun, but more time to kind of get your dealings in order to make sure that your mistress is not still at the house when your wife arrives back home. So I don't think that that part is true. I don't think that she was there at the time that it happened. Now, I will tell you that during the investigation, they did say that Nicole Kessinger's, her phone around 6 a.m. the morning after the murders, her cell phone did ping off of towers that were within a few feet from the house of Chris Watts. Now, not like a few feet, like, oh, like she's right down the street, but if you've ever seen images about cell phone towers and pinging, you can be within a certain vicinity of a certain many miles away from a certain location. And based upon that, she was there. But from her home, she lived about 20 minutes from Chris's house. So for her phone to ping from the cell towers around his house, I believe that what happened was, I don't think that she was there when the actual murder happened. I do believe that she came home around 2 a.m. Shanann. They might have talked. He might have told her that, you know, I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to separate. She was frustrated. She might have said it to him, like, you're never going to see the girls again. Maybe I'm going to get custody. I'm going to take them from you and you will never see them again. And in his fit of rage, he murdered her. But then I don't understand the part about murdering your daughters too, because if that's the case, you were angry with her for threatening to take your kids away from you. You murdered the kids. You could have just let you guys separate and her take the kids for all of that instead of killing them. I don't know. But anyway, fast forward to her cell phone pinging around 6 a.m. I believe that what happened was that he murdered Shanann and the girls, and then maybe realizing, like, after the fact, letting it sink in of what he had did, I believe he might have called her. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. I fucked up. I just did something. And she's, you know, they love each other. Like, they really been, like, into each other type stuff. So I feel like she might have came to the house after the fact. So she knew what had happened after the fact. But I don't believe that she was there, like, helping him murder his wife and children. But I definitely believe that before everyone else knew, like the police, her friend popped up, NK, you knew. You knew. I feel like you were definitely at that house after the fact. He said around 5 o'clock, we saw on the neighbor's camera, that's when he loaded them up in the car. That was him loading. He took 3 trips. He was loading each body into his car. It was not work tolls. It was those bodies. And then he went to the work site, out at that oil site, and then dumped and disposed of their bodies. And that was around 5 a.m., he said. Now, when Shanann's friend Nicole called him, he was at work. And he said he typically goes for work at 5. So then for NK's phone to ping at his house around his house at 6 a.m., did he, like, go dump them, go to work, come back home, or meet up with her a little bit and then go back? I don't know. We don't know. But I say all that to say, I don't think that she was a part of the actual murder. But I definitely believe that she knows a whole lot more than what she lets on to believe. And we really will never know. Because if you guys follow this case, little Miss NK, her father is, like, a former, like, police force. I forget exactly, like, what he is, but he's got some connections. So when she was doing her interrogations with the police, her dad was in the interrogation with her. Like, when have you ever seen that? Any regular person, if something happens with me and I gotta go get interviewed by the police, my dad is not gonna be sitting right there with me. And while investigators are asking me questions, he's chiming in, like, don't ask her that, or don't ask that question in this particular way, like, you're leading, like, yeah, like, he made sure that she was not tripped up, caught up in anything. But again, he has that ability because he has that knowledge, because, yeah, and that is not fair. I feel like no matter who you are, what connections that you had, if you come to the point where you have to be interrogated, you need to get interrogated on your own. That is not fair to have someone to sit there and hold your hand and hold the hand of the investigators and kind of let things go that way. So another question that I had for you guys was whether or not you felt that NK should also be charged. Again, I definitely think that she knows a lot more than what she said. She already was caught lying, saying that she didn't know her name when you've been Googling it, didn't know she was pregnant. But yet she posted all over her page about being pregnant, the reaction video when he found out that she was pregnant. There was no way that NK did not know. You knew he was married, you still wanted a piece of the pie, and you were willing to sit around until your slice got cut. Like, that's how you have it. I feel like that, I don't know if there's, like, something that you can charge someone with for being aware of something and not, I don't know. I don't know what all the charges that you could possibly charge someone with, but I feel like she definitely should have been investigated much further. Now, a lot of this case investigation did stop when Chris did confess, because pretty much with that confession, whatever else we're looking into is null and void. We don't need to look into anything else. You confess. We got someone, lock them up, put them away, throw away the key. bump everything else that we think. But I believe that that should not have been that way. They should have continued to fully investigate her, because I do believe that she took some part in on this. Another update came out a couple weeks ago where he said that the murders were planned, like he knew ahead of time, the day before she came home, that he was going to murder her. He also tried to blame her too. I don't know if he's doing that also just because now you're in jail and you murdered your family so that you could be with her, but now that you're in jail, she probably distanced herself because you're in jail for the rest of your life. You can't be with her anyway. She's out here amongst regular everyday people, so she's got to move on with her life. No matter how much she might have wanted you then, it's not going to be the same now. She's going to keep moving on with her life. So again, I say to you guys who be out here trying to murder people just so you can be with someone else, the consequence of it is never worth it, because who you're murdering for to be with, you're never going to be with them. They're going to catch you every single time. And then that person who you wanted to be with is just going to be out here free to find somebody new while you are cooped up in a cage, hating yourself every fucking day. And now I guess he's mad, like saying, placing blame on her. He called her a Jezebel. I know you didn't think that about NK before, but now you're pissed off with her because you're in jail. She's probably not fucking with you the way that you want her to, because you're gone. You're done, son, in her eyes. Why would she continue to try to keep that relationship? What's going to come out of that? Nothing. And her dad is like old police force. He's not going for that. Like, yeah, my daughter is just out here waiting for a convicted criminal who is never getting out of jail. Why would she stop her life like that? She's not. So he was stupid for that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that she was involved in it? Do you guys think that she knew more than she's leading on to? And do you think that she should have been charged or further investigated? Please let me know. And I also think it's a cop-out too for Chris that he took the life sentence. He took a plea deal, which took the death sentence off the table. Now, as I said to you guys, it was the request of Shanann's family that he take the plea deal. I don't know why. I don't know whether they were still holding on to the love that they had for him as being an in-law, that we don't want you, that we don't want you to face death. Or maybe they just wanted him to have to sit in jail for the rest of his life and rot that way, because he was a pretty young guy. I don't know why they wanted him to do life instead of death. Based upon the crime, for me, I'm all for a death penalty in a situation like this. You murdered your own two innocent kids, two sweet little babies, right in front of each other. Like, and that's another part for me that's truly disturbing. The part about Bella. She sat there and she watched you murder her little sister in front of her eyes, and then knew enough of what was happening to say to you, like, Daddy, are you going to do the same thing to me that you just did to Celeste? And then you just murder her. You had plenty of time while you were, after you killed the mother, okay, but while you were driving to the site to dispose of the mother's body while the girls were still alive in the back seat, you had plenty of time to think about it on this ride. I think the ride was like a 40-minute ride to the oil site from his home. You had plenty of time to think about it and change your mind and decide, I'm not going to kill my babies. I'm not going to do that to them. But you didn't. You still did. And that's the horrible part about it. Like, it's insane. It's so crazy that I cannot wrap my mind around it. And then for her to be pregnant, like, and then they said that too, because Shanann, 15 weeks pregnant with a baby boy. Apparently, he said to someone that he wanted NK to be the mother of his first son. So Shanann being pregnant with the boy, that was donezo. Like, he didn't want that. He wanted NK to be the mother of his son. But I still don't understand, like, if it ever comes down to something like this and you don't want to be with somebody no more, just let them go. I really don't understand. I cannot wrap my mind around it, like, why you had to completely, like, murder them all. Like I said, even if she said she was taking the girls away from you, clearly you did not want them that bad anyway if you were willing to just murder them yourself. Like, you should have just told her, I don't want to be with you no more. I don't love you. Separate, get a divorce. Let her have the children. You did not have to kill them all. And that is something about cases like this that I will never be able to understand. Just leave. Leave. Like, if I ever get married and my partner does not want to be with me anymore, please leave. You can have whatever you want. Do not murder me. Like, you can take the house, money. If we got kids, you can't have my kids. But don't murder me for my kids. Like, we can work something out. Like, anyway, please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave all of your thoughts, opinions, your comments. Talk to me, guys. Let me know. If you guys know anything about this case, if you've done your own research, let's get the conversation going below. But this is a crazy case. Like I said, still to this day, new things come out every single day about this case. And you would think that by now, again, this happened in 2018. It's 2025. You would think that by now, 7 years later, we would kind of have like a resting story. But no, it never rests. Anyway, yeah. Let me know what you guys think of this, okay? The Chris Watts case remains one of the most shocking and heartbreaking true crime stories in recent memory. It's a reminder that the face we see on social media isn't always the full story, and that evil can hide in plain sight. Chris took the lives of his entire family in cold blood, and for what? To chase after a fantasy of another woman that you're not going to be with anyway. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico should all be alive today. So rest in peace to them all. There is also a Netflix documentary on this case called American Murder, The Family Next Door. Make sure you guys check it out, okay? And if you're sipping along with me, then cheers to justice, truth, and always trusting your gut, because baby, and while we're at it, let's get another sip. So for this week, our wine rating of the 19 Crimes Cabernet Sauvignon. It's Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon. I think I'm saying it right. It's such a fancy word to pronounce. Yeah, because when I had the other one was Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, so Cabernet Sauvignon. Anyway, I'm going to give this wine a 3 out of 3 cheers. I'm going to cheers it. Okay? I love this. This is so delicious. It is dry. It's a super dry wine, but it tastes so good. Like I said, I love cabs already, but this one is definitely going to be added to my list of wines. I'm going to actually definitely finish this bottle. But I'm going to get another one to stock on our bar here in the house because this one is delicious. I love this. I feel it already, but I didn't take as many sips today as I did in previous episodes because if y'all have been paying attention, I'm pretty sure that y'all can start to tell once I start to feel the wine, because when I'm editing the footage, I can tell, like, boom, right there, by the way you started talking, you started feeling that wine. So I kind of had to dial back a little bit and take a few less sips because I don't want to be slurring my words while I'm trying to give you guys the information on the case. But this, I highly, highly, highly recommend. If you were sipping on something else and you did not try the 19 Crimes, go out and get you a bottle ASAP. Again, they have other kinds besides just the Cab. I am interested in trying them all. And they do have a line with Snoop Dogg too. So I'm definitely going to try some of those. So again, 3 out of 3 cheers. I absolutely love it. Again, guys, make sure you guys get your Wine Girl merch using our code PD15. That way you guys can support the cause. I'm super excited for this journey of us, for this journey that we are on. I want to thank every single person for tuning in, whether you have watched every single episode or even just one. If you're subscribing, commenting, liking the video, everything helps and shows support So I thank you guys so much. The amount of love that I've been receiving in reference to this podcast has been amazing, and I really cannot thank you guys enough. I see so much for our future, and it's just up from here, and we're going to keep going. But thank you guys for listening to today's episode of Poor Decisions. If you found this case as disturbing and impactful as I did, then please share this episode with someone you love. Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And until next time, as always, make good choices and not poor decisions.